Hello, I'm David Bly. I'd like to talk with you for a few minutes about something that's very much on my mind. Yours too, I'm sure. I want to talk with you about this question. How do we save our middle class society? By a middle class society, I mean one that supports our democracy. I mean one that creates growth and opportunities for each and every one of us. I mean one that benefits everyone, not just a select few. We tend to take the middle class economy for granted, but we shouldn't. If we don't protect it, we will lose it. In my years in the state legislature, I noticed that everyone talks about saving the middle class, but many seem to want to do just the opposite. They talk of cutting education, defunding health programs, letting our roads fall apart, and how we should all work more for less. They want us to go it alone, to ignore Paul Wellstone's great advice, we all do better when we all do better. I hate to say it, but opponents of our middle class are winning. During the decades following World War II, we all did better when we all did better. But now look what's happened. Only the super rich gain from our economy. The rest of us feel increasingly desperate. What's causing this? Lots of things. Our Supreme Court thinks money is protected speech. The rich speak with their checkbooks, and those checkbooks are getting bigger by the day. We've been living with supply-side economics that has us waiting for wealth to trickle down. We've been told that sending our jobs overseas and working for cheap will somehow make us better off. I could go on, and so could you, about all the ways we have undermined our middle class. The cost has been high. We have record income inequality. Studies show that income inequality means more health and social problems that everyone must deal with. So how do we save our middle class economy? A middle class society is supported by 5 building blocks: education, healthcare, transportation, clean energy and environment, and living wage jobs. Let's look at how we are doing on each of these. First, education, something everyone agrees is vitally important. Many states commit to quality education for all in their constitutions. But too often, actions are speaking louder than words. College is harder to afford and does not afford the job prospects it used to. The same budget cuts that put college out of reach are wreaking havoc at all levels of education. We know that a society that can't provide health care for all its citizens is a society at risk. We hear that we have the best health care in the world. But the numbers tell a different story. Our health outcomes do not measure up to the rest of the world because our system does not assure universal access. Now look at transportation. Healthy economies require that goods and people can move around easily. Investment in infrastructure is essential if we are to grow. But we aren't making the investments we need. We all feel the cost as roads, bridges, and public transportation are neglected. Environment and energy use go hand in hand in a middle-class economy. A clean, safe environment supports good health and quality of life for everyone. But instead of moving forward on clean energy, we continue to rely on imported oil and to live with the economic and environmental consequences. Shouldn't our foreign policy be based on something nobler than oil imports? The fifth foundation of a middle-class economy is living wage jobs. Generations before us understood that hard-working Americans would share in our prosperity and created our middle-class society. But we have abandoned that understanding. Wages for most of us have flatlined during the past few decades in spite of a continuing pressure from rising costs of life's essentials. Here's my solution. The middle-class economy is essential not only to our economic well-being, but to our democracy. The middle-class economy deserves constitutional protection. This is how we can assure the promise of the preamble, which begins, "We, the people." Imagine how different our lives and political discussions would be if this were in the Constitution. As a middle-class society is the mainstay of a strong economy and vibrant democracy, and critical to the long-term prosperity and stability of a republican form of government, and as a middle-class society is supported by the public investment in basic building blocks to create opportunity to guarantee its survival and growth, Congress will commit to provide by law and to protect for its citizens an economic and social environment conducive to living wage jobs, a clean and safe environment, a comprehensive public education system, a stable and functioning transportation system, and access to affordable comprehensive health care. Further, Congress will resist changes to this commitment and its means of support that will undermine the survival of the economic opportunity created by the existence of a middle-class society, committed to greater income equality. This is more than any one person can do. I need your help. Sign the petition on my website. Meet with your neighbors and get them excited about what we are doing. Talk to political representatives at all levels and ask them to introduce the Middle Class Amendment. I thank you in advance for supporting the middle-class economy that has made this country so great. And don't forget, we all do better when we all do better.